been watching a debate on the issue of same-sex marriage. Is it right or is it wrong? Although there hasn't been a lot of common ground between the two sides, there has been a lot of thoughtful and informative dialogue on this hot-button issue. But this debate is far from over. This is a discussion that is going to continue for some time to come.
Remember,
final comment, and then
because
Joe,
we're talking about the court case, and I again hesitate to substitute my judgment on the law for Gloria's, but the court case actually said that the right of same-sex couples to marry is placed in a special protected class, correct? Equal to rights normally reserved only for race and discrimination on that order. So you're asking us to believe that on the same basis that a church cannot be told, to use your example, we will refuse to marry an interracial couple, which has been litigated, correct? That you would never ask a church to perform a same-sex marriage.
Let me just say, what you're referring to, sir,
right,
is that the California Supreme Court found that homosexuality is a suspect classification.
Correct.
What that means is they need to be protected from discrimination because they have had a history of discrimination against them. They, in essence, are politically powerless because they are not the majority. Wait, and therefore, any law that purports to discriminate against them has to be subject to strict scrutiny of the court. The state has to show a compelling state interest. They can't show a compelling state interest in stopping same-gender couples from marrying.
But you like to bring up the interracial marriage argument, so I'd like to reverse that to you.
Do you
believe that a church should be allowed to not marry an interracial couple?
I don't get into what churches should be able to do. Let me just tell you. I'll answer.
Simple question, Gloria.
I will answer this.
It's a simple question.
Yeah, I don't make decisions about what churches can do, but I do care about what government can do and must not do. And the court in California, a case called Perez versus Sharp, which none of you mentioned, decided by our California Supreme Court 60 years ago, decided to strike down the ban on interracial marriage in California. Why? Because at that time they found that marriage is a fundamental constitutional right. And that it must be enjoyed also by couples of different races. They use that case as precedent for our case, for these marriage cases. It's a fundamental right, and you can't deny same-gender couples that constitutional right.
On the narrow question of how the government is going to treat religious organizations that don't see a union of two men, just like a husband and wife, the interracial marriage analogy is very clear. It's a threat to the licenses of professionals. This is what we don't let bigots who oppose interracial marriage do. We don't let them have professional licenses. You can't be a psychiatrist, a lawyer, a social worker, a teacher if you don't view interracial marriages as marriage. You can't have an accredited school system if you don't believe in interracial marriage. Your tax-exempt status at both the state and the federal level are affected. There are large legal consequences.
Totally out of time.
Sorry.
I'm totally out of time. Did you want to make one? I've cut you off 3 times. Make it quick.
On the subject of the law, I'm with her. But what you saw played out here was a classic example of this campaign. Are churches required to marry people? No. And then you saw whatever that sort of roller coaster ride of a conversation was. There is the embodiment of this campaign.
You're asking us to argue that it's a fundamental right, but you're not going to ask for it to be enforced. That's your whole point of your campaign. It's ridiculous.
Okay, I absolutely have to stop. I'm going to take one last audience question. Okay, no. I've got 175 people pointing at this lady right here. But I'm serious, you've got like 60 seconds.
My name is Beth Cardall-Leahy. I have been in a loving, committed relationship for 27 years now. It's nobody else's business whether my partner is male or female. We have a wonderful 14-year-old child. I'm on the ordination tract for ministry, and I reserve the right to perform marriages for anyone that I feel will create a loving, healthy home. Period.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, for those of you at home, I hope that the dialogue and the information here has made you think, has been thought-provoking on all sides. I'm not sure that we've narrowed a gap between the two sides of this audience or necessarily with this particular panel. But hopefully it's something to think about. And really do give this some thought. Have some dialogue in your family about this, because the time's going to come when you're going to be called on to vote your heart, and do it in an informed way. As this debate continues, people are finding more creative ways to inform the public on the issue of same-sex marriage. Just take a look at what actors John C. Reilly and Jack Black are up to. It's called the Prop 8 Musical.
Look, nobody's watching. It's time to spread some hate and put it in the Constitution.
Now, how?
Proposition 8.
Proposition 8. Love's not a sin.
Well, the Bible says it's so.
Well, the Bible says a lot of things, you know?
Jesus Christ!
Like you can stone your wife or sell your daughter into slavery.
Well, we ignore those verses.
Well then, friend, it seems to me you pick and choose.
We pick and choose.
I would really like to thank my distinguished panel for participating in this very important debate. In support of same-sex marriage, I would like to thank San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom, Human Rights Campaign President Joe Solmonese, and Civil Rights Attorney Gloria Allred. Against gay marriage, I would like to thank Pastor Jim Garlow of the Skyline Church in San Diego County, Maggie Gallagher of the National Organization of Marriage, and Jeff Flint from the Yes on 8 campaign and Schubert Flint Public Affairs. Thank you, and goodbye.